another nice, warm welcome to Wellbeing Call. This is Lola Oni speaking. I hope you're all keeping safe. Today, I'm going to be talking about the gut, which is made up of our esophagus, our stomach, and our small and large intestine. So typically, in everyday talk, we just say, my stomach. But yeah, it's made up of all of that: the esophagus, the stomach, and the small and the large intestine. The gut actually begins with the mouth. So when we start eating, when we put food in our mouth, the process of digestion actually begins right there, where saliva mixes with the food. And there are enzymes in the saliva that actually begins the breakdown process of the food. So that's where it all starts. And I think one thing I would really like us to bear in mind straight away is the fact that the mouth and the entire digestive system, the gut, is the only way, is the only route through which nutrients get to our body, to every part of our body, under normal circumstances. The mouth, the stomach, the intestine is the only way that nutrients actually gets to the rest of the body. So it's paramount that the digestive system is healthy for it to do its job. So this is the only place where the food and the drinks that we consume are broken down to its simplest form for it to be absorbed into the bloodstream, which then distributes it around the rest of the body. And key things to note is that as we grow older, there are certain changes that begin to take place. For some, it happens faster. For some, it's at a slow rate. Some of these things would include a decline in the number of taste buds. And for the taste buds that remain, there is a reduction in its sensitivity. Also, chewing muscles get weaker. Some people lose teeth along the line. Sometimes there is difficulty with swallowing. There is a reduction in the amount of acid produced by the stomach. There's also usually a reduction in bowel movement, which makes a lot of older people feel constipated. So all these things tend to happen with age, but it will vary from one person to another when these things begin to happen. Some people don't lose any teeth at all, and they get to their 90s, they don't lose teeth. Some people lose teeth in their 50s, in their 60s, and if they continue to lose teeth in that way, it will affect their food. It would affect the way they eat. It will affect what they actually eat. So all these things do have long-term effects. So, I will just digress a little bit and say that this is one of the reasons why it's important to take seriously visiting our dentist for checkups once or twice a year, as the dentist recommends, because in old age, all these things have an after effect, whether there was good dental care or not. So that leads me on to talking about the gut microbiome. That's what this aspect of the gut is scientifically called, the gut microbiome. And simply put, it just refers to the bacterial colonization of our gut, the bacteria that actually live in our gut. And of the bacteria that live in our gut, there are the bad bacteria, which cause disease, and there is good bacteria. Now, the key thing for balance to happen is for the good bacteria to surpass the bad bacteria and be able to keep them under check. Now, the good bacteria has a wide variety of functions beyond just keeping the bad bacteria under check. Because without the good bacteria, scientifically, it's been found that actually we would not be able to survive without the good bacteria. They have quite a few functions, and it's just over the last 20 years that this new findings came to light, that we actually have a good colony of good bacteria that is necessary for human health, not just for gut health, but for overall health. So some of the functions of gut bacteria are to maintain the integrity of the lining of the stomach and the gut generally. Also to maintain good immune function, because now it's been found that about 70 to 80% of our immune function actually resides in the lining of our gut. Initially, it sounds unbelievable when you hear that, but science is continually evolving and finding new things, and that's the new finding, that 70 to 80% of our immune function actually resides in the gut. So when there is something not quite right with the digestive system, then it affects the immune system. It's like a knock-on effect. Also, good bacteria is involved in the breakdown of fats and proteins, and that's besides the enzymes that the gut actually uses to break down these food components. So good bacteria is also involved in fat and protein breakdown. Now, research has also again come forth with the fact that good bacteria is involved in making certain vitamins, and to be precise, vitamin K, which is important for blood clotting, and vitamin B12, which is important for nerve function and some other functions that B12 has as well. And now this is separate from the B12 that we would actually consume through our food, or the vitamin K that we would actually take in through our food. So there is bacteria that produces these as well, as our body needs it. And another key function of gut bacteria, again, this may sound a bit far-fetched, but gut bacteria is thought to have a regulatory role in anxiety and mood, cognition, and pain. Now, this is related largely to the gut-brain connection. Our gut and our brain are connected. And now scientists are beginning to say actually that our gut is a second brain. So this is really how important it is to look after our gut. And so in looking after our gut, we're looking also after our gut bacteria. They are very, very crucial for the gut to function properly. Without the gut functioning at maximum capacity, now it doesn't matter how nutritious an individual's diet may be. What it simply means is that they actually would not really be absorbing much of the nutritious meals they're eating, because the gut wall is not working well, the bacteria necessary to break down the food is not present, and various other things that would usually go wrong when the good bacteria are not there. There are so many species, it's not just one type. There are many, many, many types, and there are trillions of gut bacteria that live in our gut, and they need to be there for the gut to work well. So obviously we then need to be able to look after our gut bacteria to make sure that they are not being suppressed or overcome by the bad bacteria. And how do we do this? Diet continues to be the most important determinant in shaping the composition and the richness of our gut bacteria. So the food we eat will determine how many gut bacteria we have and how varied they are. And the gut bacteria needs to be quite varied. There are so many good gut bacteria performing so many different functions. So diet is still the most important single component. And so a study I read concluded that in general, intake of diet rich in fruits, in vegetables, fibers is associated with a higher richness and diversity of the gut bacteria. Now, I do recognize that not everybody would be able to necessarily consume, foods rich in fiber every day. It's probably not conducive for everyone. It's probably not convenient. It's probably not even compatible, if you like, because some people might react to certain foods, and that's true. But it does take a bit of trial and error sometimes to be able to figure out which foods work for you and which foods don't. It's well worth seeing a nutritionist, a nutrition therapist, a dietitian, in order to be able to work out, especially if you react to a number of foods. So to be able to work out and figure out what foods that you can eat more regularly that would help to provide your body and your gut bacteria, importantly, with the fiber that they need to grow. Because it's just like any living thing, the bacteria need food to grow. And we need to keep our good bacteria level at a very good level, whereby they are able to continually suppress the bad bacteria and work for us. So see you in the next video. Please subscribe if you haven't. Please like, and see you next time. Bye-bye.